Hey everybody, it's Q&A Wednesday, and I apologize, I'm a couple minutes late. It's just a crazy day. But anyhow, just wanted to hop on here. We have a great topic for today. We are talking about whether or not you have to give up everything that you love in order to be healthy. And of course, we're pretty much talking about food, but we'll get into that in just a second. But you know, summer's almost over. It's just crazy. I'm super excited to really enjoy the last of this warm weather. I know it's been a little warm for everybody, and I know that there's been a lot of fires, and so, for those of you that are being affected by that, my heart's with you. So just got back from an amazing, that too, conference. I've really, over the last few years, been very, very picky about the products that I offer to my clients and that I tend to support and kind of stand behind. And so there's a really great brand that I honestly love because the products are great. And of course, they just came out with some new stuff. And so for anybody that's interested, I get a lot of clients saying, what's the most effective detox? Should I do a juice cleanse? I'm like, your body actually is designed to cleanse itself and to detox itself. But I take some extra supplements just to really support some of the issues that I personally have. And so they came out with a new product that I'm not gonna lie, it's bomb. Anyway, so for anybody who is needing some extra help with detoxing, now, again, this is just toxins and things because we deal with that stuff every day in our lives. This isn't necessarily a detox. This is supporting your body's ability to detox. But I'm gonna tell you, within a day and a half, I could totally tell that my body, and I eat really clean. But so if you're interested, private message me because this stuff is the bomb. It's called Vtox. It's got stuff that so anyhow, today, okay, so we're gonna talk about to be healthy. And so, of course, I'm gonna, like normal, I'm gonna say yes and no. Actually, really, you don't have to give up everything that you love in order to be healthy. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that because, I think sometimes we have this mistaken idea that, one or two changes is gonna change everything. And it might in the beginning, and this is coming from someone who, for the majority of my adult life, was obese and really needed to make some healthy changes. And so some of those original, just cleaning things up a little bit and moving more, hello Valerie, really made a big difference when I was 210 pounds. Now, of course, I'm not 210 pounds, I'm 135 pounds. And so of course now it's a little bit different, but I do want to talk about that because one of the things I do tell my clients is you don't have to give up everything that you love, because if you feel like you're sacrificing everything, you're not going to stick with it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Having a healthy lifestyle is not about restricting yourself. It's not about eating a ridiculously small amount of food, because I don't really want you to give up food in general. As a matter of fact, a lot of people that I work with tend to not eat enough. The problem being is that a lot of people eat so much processed food, and I get it. We're all busy. We've got a lot going on, and sometimes we have to, hit the drive-through at whatever. I won't even go to McDonald's anymore, guys. But sometimes we have to do that. But the problem is when we do that on a consistent basis, we're getting a whole lot of empty calories, and really they're not really empty. We're just talking about void of nutritional benefits. The reason that we eat is to be able to provide our body with the nutrients that it needs in order to function. So, if you think of, spinach as not just being spinach, and of course a lot of people think, oh, it's clean, it tastes gross, but it's a lot of vitamins and minerals and nutrients that your body actually needs to function. And if you're, instead of doing, say, spinach or chicken or something like that, you're doing a McDonald's cheeseburger or a Pop-Tart, what you're doing is you're providing your body with a lot of, first, sugar, which of course, your body doesn't necessarily need. But also, it's fats, your body's going to absorb it faster, and it's going to hold on to it because there's really no nutritional benefit to any of those products. Yeah, they taste good. That's why we buy them, right? However, that being said, I don't think that you should give up everything that you love, because it's really difficult to stick with it. If you're always telling yourself, I'm sacrificing, I'm giving up, you don't tend to stay working towards your goals. So you've got to find that balance. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The problem is, when most of us do, like I said, most people that I work with have done the whole diet thing. The problem with that is, when we think, okay, well, I'm going to eat 1,200 calories today, if that's not enough for you, your body will find a way to make you eat it. Your body has a process where if you're not feeding it enough, that's where cravings come from. There's a physiological and a psychological issue. It has to do with hormones, and your body's sole goal is to survive. And so if it's in a survival mode, you're going to struggle to eat such a low option, right? So that's part of it. Valerie says she loves steamed spinach. Spinach is great. You know what? I love spinach. As a matter of fact, I have my meal waiting for me, and I've got spinach with some avocado in it, and a little bit of this amazing dressing that my daughter has come up with that I'll have to tell you about later. So, you know, the cleaner you eat, the better the clean food tastes. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But, you know, when you set a goal, one of the things that you have to think about is what I'm doing getting me closer or further away from my goal? So again, I'm not saying that you can't have those. The case in point, I love M&Ms. Everybody that knows me knows I love M&Ms, and the caramel M&Ms, I swear to you, are crack. So I try not to bring them home because sometimes they become a problem. The problem is, so, you know, I eat them every once in a while, but if I were to eat them every day, it would actually take me further away from my current goals. So it's not that I don't ever eat them, but I don't eat them very often. Does that make sense? And I'm going to give you some tips on that, just because, you know, there's some things that you have to do in order to make that be effective. So let's talk about that in just a second. You know, if the things that you're wanting to eat and that you feel like you're giving up, are foods that are ingredients, like I said, they're not getting you towards your goal. And those are going to be primarily things like sugar. You know, again, sugar, I won't hate to say it, but sugar's the devil. You know, a little bit in small amounts isn't bad, but the problem is it's very addicting. It actually does light up it's a dopamine issue. Your body actually releases dopamine. It likes the feel of it. It wants more. So you eat the sugar, you burn it off fast. Your body wants more, so you start to crave it again. And for anybody who's actually gone off sugar, you know that there are very real withdrawals going off sugar, because again, it's an issue with your dopamine and your body's ability to keep producing it when it gets that sugar. So, and I get it. Sometimes it's an emotional situation. I am, you know, not a stranger to eating my feelings. That's pretty much how I grew up. I would eat when I would get stressed out or upset or bored. So that kind of tends to be my go-to. I've had to learn other ways in order to work with that. And I also know what my triggers are. I know what, you know, when I get stressed out, I can feel those situations happen. And of course, then I start to crave. Now, for those of you that aren't sure you know the difference between craving and actual hunger, and I'm trying to keep it super, super simple and not scientific today, is, you know, one is here and one is here, right? So hunger, actual true physiological hunger, is when your stomach kind of gets that tight feeling and a kind of a gnawing feeling. That's your body producing what we call ghrelin, which is the hormone that tells your body, I am hungry. Now, if you are hungry here's the easiest way to tell. What will satisfy it, right? Because when I'm really hungry and I'm actually physically hungry, you know, I'll eat a green pepper, or, you know, something that's healthy will actually satisfy that. If I feel like I need comfort food, cookies, chocolate, ice cream, whatever, I know that it's a craving, and I know that it's not actually a physiological need. So keep that in mind, that that's how you tell the difference. Okay, so things to think about when, you know, you're trying to decide whether or not that food is something, like, say, you don't have to give it up. Save it for your free meal. Now, for most of my clients, when I work with them, because they're usually at a deficit of calories, but I'm not going to go into that because it's not just calories, it's macros. But when they're at a deficit, you know, they're trying to take their body and to start burning fat into a fat burning process. At some point during the week, most of my clients need to have what I call a free meal. Now, the difference between a free meal and a cheat meal is huge. And yes, I call them two totally different things, because in my head, a cheat meal is a free-for-all, and it's basically whatever I want, and it's easy to go overboard. A free meal is eating above and beyond your calories or your macros for the day, and it gives you the ability to kind of spike your metabolism. It gives you a mental or a psychological benefit that you don't, again, feel like you're sacrificing. And again, it's not permission to go crazy, but you know, if during the week you're feeling like, I really, really want a piece of pizza, fantastic. Don't eat it every day. Save it for that free meal. Now, if you find that free meal spirals you into kind of a free-for-all or a cheat, because sometimes a cheat meal turns into a cheat day, turns into a cheat weekend, and then you're completely off track, then you might need to plan a little bit better for that, and maybe only do it once a month or once every other week. But for most of us, we can handle having a little more, in one meal. Okay. And that's something I've talked about before. But when it comes to whatever it is that is your fave, your go-to, your vice, you have to think, do I want that more than I want my goal, right? One of the benefits of having competed for the last 6 years in the bodybuilding world or on stage is that it really wasn't a question. I would tell people, God, I really want pizza right now. And they'd say, well, go eat it. But I'd say, you know what, though? I want to win more than I want that piece of pizza. So really, I had to determine whether or not that was going to get me towards where I wanted to go. Now, do I eat pizza? Once in a while I do. But honestly, at this point, I eat clean enough that when I decide to have something that's not a cleaner whole food option, ice cream's a big one, but sugar, alcohol, any of that, I really have to sit down and go, I know how I'm going to feel when I'm done. Am I okay with that? I really got to think about, I might feel like crap for 24 hours or 48 hours. Is it worth it? And sometimes that helps me to make some really intense choices. Like I don't eat ice cream very often because my body just doesn't like it. And I'm miserable for about 24 plus hours. So again, you got to kind of think about, the balance of, is it worth it for the time? I also kind of like to think, I make choices differently than I used to. Like I said, the cleaner that you eat, your taste buds change. So I actually like the taste of whole clean food. I like the taste of vegetables. And I didn't most of my life. So, but my taste buds have changed because I eat a lot cleaner. Now, when I do eat something that is outside of what I normally eat, really my idea or my focus on whether or not it's worth it, I have to decide, okay, if I have to work this off, is it worth it? And I've made a lot different choices at this point in my adult life than I used to, such as I no longer eat a lot of candy or just cheap junk food. If I really want something, it better be amazing. I don't even need big portions of it. Just a small something amazing is worth it. So, if I'm gonna eat a donut, and guys, I didn't used to be into donuts, but if I'm gonna eat a donut, it's gonna be one of those $5 amazing gourmet things that I can only get when I travel to a certain area, because again, that keeps me from going crazy. And again, I know I have to work it off. So it better be the best thing I've ever had in my whole life. So that really helps me. Also look at when you talk about the foods that you like or the things that you feel like you're missing out on, are you eating it because you really do like it, or is it because, it's something that is a stress relief? Been there. Like I said, there's times I eat my feelings. Is it a habit? I had somebody pop up and say something about that, it wasn't that they ate because of stress, they just really liked the taste of it. Okay, well, that's great. That's not a problem. But again, if it's not getting you towards your goal, you can't have both. You can't eat a bunch of garbage every day and think that you're gonna look like a supermodel. It just doesn't work like that. So again, you have to figure out that balance. You also have to think about, do you have an emotional attachment to that food? I grew up with the whole era of, okay, clean off your plate because there's starving children in Ethiopia. I totally remember that to this day. Also things like, if I had a bad day or if I felt bad or if I fell down, my parents would buy me ice cream. So I associate that with making myself feel better. And so there is an emotional attachment to some foods, and I've really had to work to find other ways to deal with that, or to feel good without food. Because of course, most of us have that guilt cycle of eat something because it makes us feel good, because it releases that dopamine briefly, because it's comfort food. But then we feel like crap because now we've done something that takes us further from our goal. And so then we feel low, and then we eat again because it's not a healthy cycle. So you have to find a way to break that. You have to figure out what your triggers are. That's really important. Also, as adults, I think it's really interesting that we still have peer pressure. We think we're done with that when we're in high school, right? But especially family-wise, I've been in situations where, people, why can't you eat the pie that I just made? Or you go out with friends and they want you to drink. Come on, just have one more drink. It's your choice. If you plan on it, that's one thing, but don't let other people pressure you into ruining your goals or breaking that point. You need to focus on what's important to you, because honestly, your friends and your family want you to do well. They just don't want you to do better than they are. And so sometimes they will try to actually sabotage what you're doing. So keep that in mind. It's not that they don't love you, but it's kind of the misery loves company situation. Well, if I can't do it, then you should just stay where we are. And I've had that happen more than once. Also, I think sometimes that there's a point where we feel like I said, it's a big sacrifice. Like, poor me, I can never have that one thing that I really love ever again. I can never have that can of beer. I can never have that cake that I love. Or I deserve it. I've worked so hard. I've starved myself all day. Think about that one. Not a great idea. I deserve to have that. Again, that's actually not a bad idea, but make yourself earn it. I do that as well. I really want that, chocolate lava cake. That's a pretty awesome option, right? I'm not going to eat it every day. Maybe I decided if I go to the gym all week, every day that I'm supposed to, and I get my cardio in, then I'm going to allow myself that at my free meal. Not a bad option, but at least you're making yourself do some things in order to take that in. Not that you should use food as a reward, but if there's something that you really want, make yourself earn it, okay? Not a bad idea. Like I said, I don't really indulge in cheap foods anymore. I really want it to taste good. So just a few tips to close out for tonight. Like I said, save it for your free. If it's something you really want, save it for your free meal. The anticipation sometimes is actually more fun than actually eating it. But not a bad idea. Again, you can still have it, but just save it for an appropriate time. I think it's really important to focus on what you can have versus what you can't have. I think in our minds, sometimes that deficit of, okay, I cannot have that, it can be psychologically, it's not healthy. Our brains want us to have, not lose, right? So, focus on what you can have. And sometimes, I've learned over time, I love yams. They are my healthy candy because they're super naturally sweet. They're good. And it's a complex carb. So it's not going to spike my blood sugar. I've kind of figured out things that I can have that I love. And you might need to try some new foods. That's not a bad idea either. As your taste buds change, you're going to appreciate those more. Okay. Rice cakes. Yeah, that's my treat. I know that sounds ridiculous, but honestly, I can eat in a bag in an entire sitting. Sometimes as your taste buds change, like I said, some of those things will become more of a better option versus most people think rice cakes and go, ew. I think of them and go, oh my gosh, that is my candy. I recommend that you don't use the word can't. Don't tell people I can't have that. I can't eat, I can't go drinking with you. Say something like, I don't eat sugar. I don't currently eat foods like that. I don't do gluten. Using don't gives you a powerful stance in that versus can't kind of makes you the victim. And it really is a choice. You're not a victim, it's a choice, right? So that's just a much more empowering concept. Highly recommend that I know that it's hard to sometimes work with the people around you, especially if your family is, I've had, adult children living with parents and their parents keep bringing garbage home. Really work with the people that you live with or that are supposed to be supporting you. The rule at my house is, yeah, that's fine if you eat it, but don't bring it home because then it becomes an issue, if we are having a stressful day. And there's more than one person in my house that food preps and eats clean and competes and those kind of things. And we're all very respectful of each other because we know we've all been there. And so that's helpful. Don't bring it home. And for you, when you're grocery shopping, if you know it's going to be a problem, don't buy it and bring it home. I don't care if it's for your kids. Here's the deal, parents. Do you really want your kids to have to deal with what you're dealing with? I find it fascinating that, people say, well, but I have to bring those goldfish crackers home for my kids. No, you don't. Teach your kids to eat healthy. They're going to do exactly what you do. And if you don't want them to deal with those feelings of guilt and frustration and, sometimes not loving yourself because of the choices that you make, don't teach your children to do the same thing. I mean, how horrible is that? So keep that in mind, that they're going to learn what you do. Also, don't beat yourself up. We all fall off the wagon. It's okay. It's not about falling down. It's about getting back up. And it happens to all of us. It happens to the best of us. It's okay. Stop freaking out. Don't beat yourself up. Don't let it take you off on this journey of, okay, well, I give up now. Success is not easy. It's not easy to be healthy, and you have to do everything on purpose. I don't know how often I have to say that. People assume that it's just going to happen by chance. It just doesn't work that way. You can't wake up in the morning. If you wake up in the morning and you don't know what you're going to eat for the day, you've already set yourself up for failure. So you've got to really focus on making sure you're prepared on multiple levels, okay? And the other thing is find a big goal. It's much easier if you have something that's really important to you and you're really working for. If you're just going, hey, I just want to feel healthy, I just want to look like my friend because she's gorgeous. Okay, fantastic. But when you get frustrated or stress comes along or a big temptation, that's not big enough goal to keep you focused. It was the whole reason that 6-7 years ago I chose to start competing, is I needed something that didn't allow me to justify things. And sometimes that changes for me. My goals change a little bit. But I find that if I don't have a goal, it's really easy for me to backtrack and kind of go backwards on my goal. So hopefully that gives you an idea. Again, you don't have to cut it all out. You just need to take notice that, eating things that are unhealthy and processed and sugar are probably not going to get you to where you want to go, because not only is that not going to help you, get to your goal, but it's also going to probably support, some diseases and some things, obesity, metabolic syndrome. There's a lot of research at this point, and I know that it's not all out there, which is very frustrating to me. I figure in this day and age with all the information out there, I don't understand why we don't all know this. Well, I kind of do know, big food. But, it's important to know that those things are not getting you where you want to go, and they're not going to keep you healthy, and they're not going to extend your life. And we'll talk about that in the future, because I've got some really great topics coming up. I've been doing lots of reading and research because I love that part of it. But until then, have an incredible evening, you guys. Enjoy the rest of the summer. Go out there and just, it's all about being happy and enjoying each other and enjoying our families. So have an incredible night. And until next week, have a good one.